Christianity has a long history in Anatolia and Armenian Highland, which is the birthplace of numerous Christian apostles and saints, such as Paul of Tarsus, Timothy, Nicholas of Myra, Polycarp of Smyrna and many others. The percentage of Christians in Turkey fell from 19% in 1914 to 2.5% in 1927, due to events which had significant impact on the country's demographic structure, such as the Armenian Genocide, the population exchange between Greece and Turkey, and the emigration of Christians to foreign countries that actually began in the late 19th century and gained pace in the first quarter of the 20th century, especially during World War I and after the Turkish War of Independence. Today there are more than 250,000 people of different Christian denominations, representing less than 0.4% of Turkey's population, including an estimated 100,000 Oriental Orthodox, 38,000 Roman Catholics, 20,000 Antiochian Greeks, 10,000 Greek Orthodox and smaller numbers of Protestants. There is also a small group of ethnic Orthodox-Christian Turks who follow the Greek Orthodox or Syrian Orthodox Church. They are often confused with ethnic Greeks. Some of them actually have a Greek background, but there are ethnic Turks who never converted to Islam in the history between this population. Currently there are 236 churches open for worship in Turkey. The Eastern Orthodox Church has been led by the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, still based in the city which the Turks have called Istanbul since the 4th century. Brief description: 2 out of the 5 centers of the ancient Pentarchy are in Turkey, Constantinople and Antioch. Antioch was also the place where the followers of Jesus were called Christians for the first time in history, as well as being the site of one of the earliest and oldest surviving churches, established by St. Peter himself. For 1,000 years the Hagia Sophia was the largest church in the world. Turkey is also home to the 7 churches of Asia, where the revelation to John was sent. Apostle John is reputed to have taken Virgin Mary to Ephesus in western Turkey, where she spent the last days of her life in a small house, known as the House of the Virgin Mary, which still survives today and has been recognized as a holy site for pilgrimage by the Catholic and Orthodox churches, as well as being a Muslim shrine. The Cave of the 7 Sleepers is also located in Ephesus. All of the first 7 ecumenical councils, which are recognized by both the Western and Eastern churches, were held in present-day Turkey. Of these, the Nicene Creed, declared with the First Council of Nicaea in 325, is of utmost importance and has provided the essential definitions of present-day Christianity. Today, however, Turkey has a smaller Christian percentage of its population than any of its neighbors, including Syria, Iraq, and even Iran, due to the Syrian Genocide, Armenian Genocide, and Greek Genocide during and after World War I, and the subsequent large-scale population transfers of Turkey's Christian population, most notably Greece, and the forced exodus of indigenous Armenians, Assyrians, Greeks and Georgians upon the breakup of the Ottoman Empire. This was followed by the continued emigration of most of the remaining indigenous Christians over the next century. During the tumultuous period of the First World War and founding of the Turkish Republic, up to 3 million indigenous Christians are alleged to have been killed. Prior to this time, the Christian population stood at around 20% of the total demographics. In addition, the vast majority of Christians in Turkey have been members of indigenous pre-Turkish and pre-Islamic ethnic groups, extant in the region since the Late Bronze Age and Iron Age. The Turks have had poor relations with these ancient communities of Greeks, Armenians, Assyrians and Georgians, and the previous killings deportations and emigrations of these ethnicities, which coupled with the emigration of the country's Jews and its non-recognition of other religions, means that Turkey is a de facto Islamic state, and ethnic Turks are almost exclusively Muslim. According to the newspaper, Milliyet reports 35,000 Muslim Turks convert into Christianity in 2008. There is a small ethnic Turkish Protestant Christian community in Turkey, which number about 4,000–5,000 adherents. Most of them came from Muslim Turkish background. If these conversion figures are accurate and if such trends continue, it would indicate a shift of the Christian population in Turkey from being mostly members of ethnic minorities to being mostly ethnic Turks. Today the Christian population of Turkey is estimated at more than 160,000 Christians. These include 60,000 Armenian Apostolic, 35,000 Roman Catholics of varying ethnicities, 21,000 ethnic Assyrians, up to 22,000 Greeks, and smaller numbers of Bulgarians, Georgians, and Protestants of various ethnicities. According to Bekir Bozdağ, Deputy Prime Minister of Turkey, there were 349 active churches in Turkey, 140 Greek, 58 Assyrian and 52 Armenian Christian communities. Constantinople, the largest Christian population in Turkey, is in Istanbul, which comprises a large community of Armenians and Greeks. The Patriarchate of Greek Orthodox Christianity. Antioch, original seat of the namesake Antiochian Orthodox Church, but now the titular see. The area has 7,000 Christians and 14 active churches. The area is known for having religious and ethnic diversity, having a majority Arab rather than Turkish population, a significant Alawite Muslim population, and a large Christian community. The city has what has been suggested to be the oldest church in the world as well, the Church of St. Peter, founded by the Saint himself. The Abdon area is a large area with a multitude of mostly Syriac Orthodox churches, monasteries and ruins. Settlements including Midyat. The Christian community in Midyat is supplemented by a refugee community from Syria and has 4 operating churches. Some of the most significant Syriac churches and monasteries in existence are in and near Midyat, including Mor Gabriel Monastery and the Saffron Monastery. Churches of the Byzantine Rite Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople. Istanbul is the seat of the Patriarchate, one of the oldest of the Eastern Orthodox churches. Greek Orthodox Church of Antioch. Antioch is the official seat of the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch and all the East. The Tay province including Antakya is not part of the canonic area of the Church of Constantinople. Most of the local Orthodox persons are Arabic-speaking. Turkish Orthodox Church was created by Turkish nationalists who tried to create a Turkish national church to counter the influence of the Ecumenical Patriarchate for political reasons. Churches of the Armenian Rite. Armenians in Turkey prior to the Armenian Genocide were centered, ironically, in the eastern part of Turkey, known as the Armenian Highlands, or Western Armenia. Now, the majority are concentrated in Istanbul. A couple thousand others live scattered throughout Anatolian Turkey. Armenian Apostolic Church. There are 35 churches maintained by the Religious Foundation in Istanbul and its surrounding areas. Besides Surpazd Vadzads and Patriarchal Church in Kumkapi, Istanbul, there are tens of Armenian Apostolic churches. There are other churches in Kayseri, Diyarbakir, Deri, Iskenderun, and Vakıflıkoyu that are claimed by foundations as well. Around 1,000 Armenian churches throughout Turkey sit on public or privately owned land as well. with them all either being repurposed or abandoned or in ruins. Armenian Catholic Church. There are several Armenian Catholic churches in Istanbul, including a large cemetery. Armenian Evangelical Church. The Armenian Protestants have 3 churches in Istanbul from the 19th century. Churches of the Syriac Rite. The Syriac Christian population probably has the most regional influence in Turkey, as its population wasn't confined to or was centered in Istanbul like the rest of the Christian communities of Turkey were. Active churches are located in Istanbul, Diyarbakir, Adıyaman, and Elazig. There are many both active and inactive churches in the traditionally Neo-Aramaic area of Trabzon, which is a region centered in the western area of Mardam province, and has areas that go into Cernik and Batman province. Up until the 1980s, the Syriac population was concentrated there as well, but a large amount of the population has fled the region to Istanbul or abroad due to the Turkey-PKK conflict. The church structure is still organized, however, with 12 reverends stationed in churches and monasteries there. Churches were also in several other provinces as well, but in the Syrian Genocide the churches in those provinces were destroyed or left ruined. Churches of the Syriac Rite include Syriac Orthodox Church, Syriac Catholic Church, churches of the Assyrian Rite. The Nestorian Church in Turkey was completely wiped out in the Assyrian Genocide. Although they were originally centered in Hakkari, the Chaldean branch is based primarily in Istanbul, although its church structure is centered in Diyarbakir. Churches of the Assyrian Rite include Assyrian Church of the East, Chaldean Catholic Church, churches of the Latin Rite. Vicariate Apostolic of Istanbul Cathedral, Cathedral of the Holy Spirit, Istanbul. Basilica, St. Anthony of Padua Church in Istanbul, Istanbul. Vicariate Apostolic of Anatolia Cathedral, Cathedral of the Annunciation, Iskenderun, Iskenderun. Co-Cathedral, Co-Cathedral of St. Anthony of Padua, Mersin, Mersin. Archdiocese of Izmir Cathedral, St. John's Cathedral, Izmir, Izmir. Archeparchy of Istanbul, Archeparchy of Diyarbakir, Vicariate Apostolic of Istanbul, Church of St. Peter of Antioch, Church, Church of St. Peter. Anglican Church. The Anglicans in Turkey form part of the Eastern Archdeaconry of the Diocese of Gibraltar in Europe. In 2008, the Bishop of Europe, Jeffrey Roell, caused controversy by ordaining a local Manta minister to Turkish-speaking Anglicans in Istanbul. The main churches are at Ankara, Istanbul and Izmir. Lutheran Church. The Lutheranism has been in Turkey since 1709. The Istanbul Lutheran Church is founded 2004. Other denominations. The Armenian Protestants own 3 Istanbul churches from the 19th century. There is an alliance of Protestant churches in Turkey. There are churches for foreigners in compounds and resorts, although they are not counted in lists of churches as they are only used by tourists and expats. Christian houses of worship.